Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the webinar for Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. My name is Minister Johnson. So today I'm sharing part 2 of this segment. I have a website I want to share with you all, but I'm going to leave that to the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all to kind of take a look at this.
Metastatic breast cancer. Advanced or metastatic breast cancer is cancer that has spread beyond the breast and past the lymph nodes to other parts of the body, such as lungs, liver, brain, and bones.
Sorry, everybody.
Metastatic breast cancer. Advanced or metastatic breast cancer is cancer that has spread beyond the breast and past the lymph nodes to other parts of the body, such as lungs, liver, brain, and bones. This stage is called stage 4 cancer. About 5% of breast cancers in the U.S. are stage 4 when they are first diagnosed. The reality of stage 4 cancer is that it is not possible to remove this cancer completely from your body. Instead, most treatments will work to shrink the tumor or to stop it from growing. Treatment of metastatic breast cancer focuses on length and quality of life. The good news is that today there are many treatments that can greatly improve your quality of life and extend life. Surgery. If you were diagnosed with breast cancer that is present in your breast and in other parts of your body, your healthcare team may recommend not having a mastectomy. The reason that the greatest threat to your health comes not from the tumor in the breast, but from the distant metastases that damage other organs. These metastases generally are difficult to treat surgically, so they are treated with other methods intended to control the cancer. Radiation therapy, treatment with high-energy X-rays, may be used to shrink metastases in distant organs. You may need only a few treatments, rather than an entire 5 to 7 week course. Chemotherapy, hormone therapy, and targeted therapy. In early cancer, chemotherapy is given to destroy undetectable cells that may or may not have spread through the body. In advanced cancer, your healthcare team may be able to use X-rays or CT scans to check the tumor as it shrinks from the chemotherapy. The team will then be able to switch to another drug or a combination of drugs if necessary. Depending on the characteristics of your tumor, hormone therapy, as well as targeted therapy, can also be used effectively to control the growth and spread of advanced breast cancer. It is important for you and your healthcare professionals to discuss the probable course of your disease. At some point, the treatments may stop showing benefit, or you may decide your quality of life becomes more important than continuing with treatment. This can be a difficult time. Your healthcare team can help you find support for you and your family if this occurs. But it is just as important for you to remember that every person is unique, and every cancer runs a different course. Your task is to work with your provider to make the best decisions for your particular case. And remember, many new treatments for metastatic breast cancer are currently under study.
I like it.
Our sponsor Lilly has launched the Lilly Thriver movement as part of its More for MBC initiative, supporting those with metastatic breast cancer. Mira Sorvino, Oscar winner, fitness expert Anna Kaiser from AKT Studio, are both here again, working as spokespeople for Lilly. They're here to continue our conversation. Let's get to it. We were so blessed to kick off this campaign yesterday, right here on GMA. Mira, what did that mean to you?
It meant an enormous amount because I have lost 2 people very dear to me to this terrible disease. Metastatic breast cancer is the form of breast cancer that has moved from the original site in the breast to other parts of the body. It is the only kind of breast cancer that kills you, and yet it gets a tiny percent of the attention and the research dollars. Only 7% 7% of all money raised for breast cancer goes to trying to find a cure for metastatic breast cancer. 40,000 people a year die from it. That number hasn't changed in 40 years. So whatever we're doing is not enough. 113 people a day, including two of my dearest friends.
I feel your passion. I really do.
We have to bring attention to metastatic breast cancer to the community, and we have to bring the money. We've got to find a cure.
And Anna, how do we do that? How can we make this happen? I love Lily's campaign, More for MBC. We talk about breast cancer all the time. It's the M that is so important to talk about, the metastatic.
Yes. So I've partnered with Lily to create the Thriver pose and flow to support the men and women who are affected by metastatic breast cancer and to help them thrive.
And you say, man, it's real.
Yes, both. And so they conducted a nationwide More for MBC campaign, and the results showed that 9 out of 10 people affected by this disease found yoga to be very helpful in managing the everyday impact and stress that the disease has on their lives. And so this Thriver pose serves as the symbol for the movement. Hopefully it will raise funds and awareness.
There it is. There you are. I was just going to make you do it live, but we found a beautiful video of you. And it really does. That is a Thriver pose.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. It's a message. How did it feel yesterday when we did the call to action and said, everybody, get out there, put on social media a picture of you doing the Thriver pose, and with the hashtag
More for MBC.
More for
Anyone who
MBC.
does that, Lily will donate $100 to one of 3 metastatic breast cancer
$100.
So good to do. It's an easy way to really help make a difference.
Yes, and the women with us for all metastatic patients.
Should we do it, you guys? Should we get a group shot?
Do it.
Can you really give us $100 for everyone in this audience? Everybody vote! Everybody vote! Just a suggestion.
All right, Anna, let's stand up. Let's stand up. All right, so you're going to put your feet together. You can also do it seated. I want to make sure that as many people as possible can do this pose. So ground your feet in the earth. Raise your palms. As you lift your arms and your gaze to the sky, you're going to raise your heart center. Hit that Thriver pose as we thrive as one.
Oh, that feels good.
Everybody post and tag.
Post and tag.
Hashtag MBC. Thank you for your passion. Thank you. You know what? Robin calls those who have dealt with breast cancer not survivors, thrivers, and I love that. And I love this pose.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, we need you to go to goodmorningamerica.com for more information on Lily's Thriver movement.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
Thank you again for this invitation. It's my great honor to be with you and to be able to share some thoughts about metastatic or advanced breast cancer with you. So these are my disclosures. I have a friend that says if you work with every single one in the field, you are for sure not biased, because you cannot be biased working with everyone. So that's what I try to do. I would like to say two, let's say, introductory words before I go to the topic. So the topic says what's new in research. However, I always have this approach that research and education are both crucially important in oncology. Like they are the two sides of the same coin. And that's why throughout my talk I will speak about what is new, but also what is the standard and why the two things are connected. The other part the other introductory remark is about wording. So some of you use the word metastatic. Some of Some other people use the word advanced. And just to clarify, at the ABC Global Alliance, we decided to go for advanced breast cancer because we wanted to include two clinical situations. One that is called inoperable, locally advanced breast cancer. So as you can see in the images that are unfortunately very tough images, but these are very common in certain areas of the world. So this is it represents a proportion of patients that has extremely large and advanced locally the disease, and it's not operable, but it still doesn't have metastases at the distance. So that is locally advanced inoperable breast cancer. And on the right side, you see images of PET-CT showing metastatic disease, sometimes also called stage 4 breast cancer. So this is when the cancer has left the area of the breast and axilla, so the armpit, and has gone to other organs of the body. Knowing that the most common organs to be affected by this cancer is our bone, liver, lung, brain, and lymph nodes. So there is also another word sometimes used by English-speaking countries, particularly the UK, that it's secondary. Personally, I really do not like secondary breast cancer because it seems that it's second class, or that it's always secondary to early breast cancer. And that is really not the case because you can have metastatic disease from the diagnosis. So for me, the secondary doesn't make a lot of sense. Metastatic or advanced is something that we can use, and we will use it interchangeably throughout the talk. So now let's go focusing then on the topic you have asked me to deal with, research. So why do we still need research for advanced breast cancer? So what you can see here on the top, you see a graphic that came from a global report. It's an analysis, we call it the decade report, an analysis of what happened in the field of advanced breast cancer between 2005 to 2015 all over the world, except the US, because a similar report was done exclusively for the US. Now, the findings are very similar in the US and globally. And what you can see is that while the survival rates for early breast cancer are very high and have kept being very high and improving, the survival rates for metastatic breast cancer have not, unfortunately. And throughout this decade, the percentage of people alive at 5 years just changed from 23 to 26%. So very minor change for the decade period. What you'll see on the graphic on the bottom right is data from real world coming from a very important project in France that collects data from the 18 comprehensive cancer centers. So this database has more than 20,000 metastatic breast cancer patients. And you see on the bottom there that the median survival since 2008 to 2013 has not changed substantially. So it's around 3 years. A little bit more, a little bit less, but not changed substantially. And France, like the US, it's a developed and rich country and has access to almost everything that has been developed for breast cancer. Another problem that deserves a lot of focus of research in this field is the difference between what we call de novo metastatic breast cancer or recurrent metastatic breast cancer. So what does it mean? De novo is when at diagnosis there are already metastases or distant metastases. Recurrent is when you started by having early breast cancer, then you did your treatment. You had some time where the disease was under control, and a few years later, the disease comes back. So this is recurrent breast cancer. And this is an important study where a very good friend of mine that many of you know, Musa Meyer, was involved. And what you can see is that for the de novo metastatic breast cancer, the median survival, this is a study done in the US, it's around 5 years. For the recurrent, it's inferior to 3 years. So what this means is, of course, that when you have it from the start, it has not yet been influenced by any treatment, and so there are more options of treatment, and you have a longer survival than the median of 3 years. But when it's recurrent, you have used in the early setting a lot of the good treatments that we have. And so these cells that were resistant and survived the treatment are actually quite tough and difficult to control. And here the survival is around the 3 years that we talked about. So there's a lot of focus on understanding the characteristics of this recurrent breast cancer and developing new treatments for this type of metastatic disease. Another reason why we need research. You can see also here the impact of metastatic disease in the lives of patients and their families and friends and carers. On the top left, you see two very important surveys that you can also find them online, available, that were done back in the beginning of the 2000s, 2003, 2004. And what this showed was that most people with metastatic breast cancer felt abandoned by everyone. The researchers, the healthcare professionals, the media, and even the support groups. So Living Beyond Breast Cancer has focused their attention on metastatic disease quite a while ago, but the majority of advocacy groups have not done that until a couple of years back. So this group of patients, as you know so well, felt very abandoned and also felt guilt, as if they had done everything, or maybe they haven't done everything they could have done, and it was somehow their fault that the disease came back. And they also did not felt at ease to talk about their disease, even with their family and friends. Now, with the help of many of our members, we repeated this survey, and this was mainly conducted with the help of Novartis, repeated this survey 2 or 3 years back. And what you can see on the bottom right, the answers from those that were surveyed show that although there is a slight improvement, unfortunately, these feelings are still there. The feeling that you cannot find appropriate information, that you cannot find appropriate support, that society views these patients negatively, and that the non-metastatic community also is not embracing the needs of these patients. So a lot to do in this field as well. When we focus on trying to understand what are the biggest unmet needs for patients with advanced or metastatic breast cancer, this leads me to talk to you about what the alliance we have created, that it's called Advanced Breast Cancer Global Alliance. And the work of this alliance started many years before with the creation of a conference and a consensus guidelines for this specific group of patients, because at the time we started this, it did not exist. And so there was such an immense need in this field that so many people got together around this conference and around these guidelines that a lot of advocacy, lobbying, policy changing, and research started from this. So we moved to create this alliance. There is, I believe you know that there is a similar alliance in the US called the US Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance. And the US Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance is a member of the Global Alliance. So we are a global community. We are together and it is together and sharing and collaborating that we can move faster things in this field. So one of the first things we did in the Alliance was the definition of 10 concrete goals. And this is, you can find also these freely, it's called the ABC Global Charter. You can find it in our website. It exists in many languages, and you will see that we define 10 goals for this current decade that we are living. And these are not a wish list, so you will not find the cure for metastatic breast cancer, because we don't think it is possible in a period of 10 years. But we have put as first goal to double the median survival by 2025. So if we are able to do that in each of our countries and double the median survival, it will already be a very important step forward. And you can see the other goals. They focus on getting high quality data, improving quality of life, improving accessibility, improving information, and communication between healthcare professional teams and patients. Access to work, because that has a substantial impact in finances, and also fighting the stigma. And I'll come back to this one in the last part of my talk. So moving forward with all these goals in our minds, what are the two main problems in oncology today? We can summarize them by saying that it's patient selection and tumor resistance. So what we want is to match the correct treatment to the correct tumor in this individual patient, because a tumor behaves different in each different person. And so patient selection, which is the one I'll be speaking now, is crucial. When we go for biology, the use of biomarkers to select which treatment we're going to give. Unfortunately, this research have taken, has been very slow. Because for the last 2 or 3 decades, the two biomarkers that we have that are really important for breast cancer are depicted in this slide. These are, at your right, the hormonal receptors that are estrogen receptor and progesterone receptor. And these biomarkers are very important to define which tumors can respond to endocrine therapy. On your left, you see a receptor called HER2. And this one, I'll come back to explain how it works, but it's also crucial to determine which tumors can respond to anti-HER2 therapy. But throughout these last few decades, we have tried to evaluate a few hundreds of other biomarkers, trying to understand if we could have other biomarkers to help us in our decision. And for example, for endocrine therapy, there's a list of markers that we evaluated, and none of them is yet ready for use in clinical practice. So we don't have a biomarker to tell us when to use tamoxifen, when to use an aromatase inhibitor, when to use fulvestrant. And perhaps the one that is closer to be implemented in the clinical practice is something called ESR1 mutation. And these are mutations in the estrogen receptor. But yet, still for technical problems, we are not yet ready to use these in clinical practice. I believe in a few years, we will be able to use it to define which tumors have become resistant to aromatase inhibitors. So, if we summarize what we can call the precision medicine, what is ready to be used in clinical practice for breast cancer? Specifically for metastatic breast cancer. We have the estrogen receptor, the HER2 receptor, we have BRCA, so the breast cancer gene, germline BRCA mutations. We have another mutation called PIK3CA, and I'll come back to these complex names and their treatments a little bit later. And we also have for a specific subtype of advanced disease, triple-negative breast cancer, the PD-L1 status. What is not recommended for use in clinical practice, and I know it is widely used in the US, but we have not proven its value, is the large multi-gene panel of next-generation sequencing. And throughout all this, the most important take-home messages is that you need high-quality pathology to clearly identify the characteristics of the tumor, and you only should look for the biomarker if you have access to the drug that targets that biomarker. Otherwise, it's just a waste of resources. Last point about this biology, it's something called intratumoral heterogeneity. What does this mean? It means that a tumor is composed of many different cells, and sometimes they do not have the same characteristics. So for example, for the receptor HER2, the tumor is quite often composed of cells that have this receptor and cells that do not have this receptor. And this heterogeneity is sometimes the reason why a treatment is not 100% efficacious. Now, is biology the only thing that we need to take into account when we select the patient to be receiving a certain treatment? No. And in metastatic disease, all these factors that you see here and even more should be taken into account. So, for example, which treatments were taken before, what was their efficacy, and what was their toxicity, what is the tumor burden. Tumor burden, we can say, is defined by how many metastases, where they are, and then characteristics of the patient. You see that I've written their biological age and not just age. Why? Because age is just a number, and you can be very fit at your 70, or you can be very sick at your 50. So it's your age, but also all the comorbidities, so other diseases, and also your general performance status or general health. And then other factors that sometimes we don't think. For example, socioeconomic factors. How far away do you live from the hospital? That can interfere on the type of treatment we will propose to you. If you live very far away, we would prefer an oral treatment, or at least a treatment that does not make you go to the hospital every week. And very important in everything, that every decision we take in the metastatic setting, this balance between quantity and quality of life is crucial. So the goals of treatment in this setting are, of course, to improve survival, but you know that very few agents actually achieve this improved survival. If it's not possible to improve survival, then delay progression, shrink the tumor for a long period of time, control symptoms, improve or maintain quality of life, and maybe in the near future we will be able to transform this into a chronic disease. So let's go to the other problem, which is called tumor resistance. What does this mean? So I'll try to explain this figure. We are going to start from your left. You have a tumor depicted there. You see that there are different types of cells. When we give a treatment, in principle, there will be a response, so the tumor becomes smaller. However, I usually explain that tumor cells are very intelligent, so very smart, and they will find a way to escape the treatment and to regrow. And what you see is that the tumor has regrown and has become more complex with many more different cells. So that's become more aggressive actually. And this is called resistance. So what we have to do here is to stop the treatment and start the new treatment, and hopefully there will be a response again. And this is a cycle that happens throughout the metastatic breast cancer pathway. So because of what I just explained, it would be crucial to have a serial evaluation of the biology, because the biology changes every time you give a treatment. However, I think we all agree that making a series of biopsies is a little bit aggressive and not very comfortable for the patient. Nevertheless, what we recommend in our Advanced Breast Cancer Consensus Guidelines is that at least once we need the biopsy of the metastatic tumor, because it is often different from the initial early breast cancer. So we need to confirm it is metastatic disease, and we need to reevaluate at least the estrogen receptor and the HER2 receptor. Now, why do we have this resistance? So this cartoon represents what we knew about the cell when I was in high school, so many years ago. This is what you knew. A cell had a nucleus and cytoplasm and something inside there that we didn't know very well what it was. Now the next cartoon will depict a simplified version of what we know is inside the cell now. It's far more complex than this. And this is why the cell is so smart, the tumor cell is so smart, and is able to escape the treatments that we give. So how can we fight this resistance? There are a couple of things that we can do. We can develop new efficacious drugs. We can maybe combine treatments. Think of a subway. If you block just one line, you can still go around with the other lines. But if you block two lines, then circulation becomes far more complex. And this is the idea behind giving combination of treatments. Of course, what we already discussed about the serial evaluation of tumor biology, and also define what is the best sequence of the available therapies. And for this, you will see in the future a very important area of research is machine learning, or what we sometimes call artificial intelligence, to help us understand what is the best sequence of therapy. So now the talk will become a little bit more complex, but I will try to simplify as much as possible. And I just want you not to be confused with all the diagrams, but it's just to show you that this is complex, but at the same time I'll give you the take-home messages of the research that is being done in this field. So for example, for the ER-positive advanced breast cancer, what we try to do is overcome resistance to endocrine therapy. How do we do that? On your right, you see the names of the endocrine therapy agents, and they block the estrogen receptor overall. On your left, you see the names of new targeted therapies that block other members of this pathway. And so by blocking two parts of the pathway, we increase the efficacy and also the duration of the efficacy of endocrine therapy. However, every time we develop some of these new agents, imagine the CDK4/6 inhibitors, the cell also develops resistance mechanisms to these new agents. So how can we now overcome resistance to the CDK4/6 inhibitors? So what is being done is develop other targeted therapies to help us fight these new mechanisms of resistance. One of the things I've been telling you about is that we need a serial evaluation of the biology, and to avoid doing this series of biopsies, two things are being developed. One is what is called liquid biopsies. So in fact, these are blood tests, and we try to evaluate in the blood some of the biomarkers that we also evaluate in the tumor. We are still not yet ready to use this in clinical practice, but this is one of the things that I also believe that in a couple of years it will be ready for us to use in clinical practice. The other thing we are already using is functional imaging. So MRIs, PET-CTs, but also define ways of merging these images. So for example, there are ways now to do a PET together with an MRI, and that gives us a much better accuracy in the image. And I believe also in the future, that's one of the things I think will be our future, maybe not tomorrow, but in a couple of years, is the use of nanotechnology to help us achieve what we need to evaluate biology in a serial way. A few words about this artificial intelligence. I don't have much time to explain to you, but where we are using some of the tools of artificial intelligence is to multiply what we can do in a clinical trial. So in a clinical trial, we ask one question, and half of the patients receive one treatment, half of the patients receive another, and in the end of the trial, we try to conclude which treatment is the best. But for us to evaluate the sequence of treatments, we would have to do this randomization, so this division of patients many times. And this is simply not feasible inside the clinical trial. So artificial intelligence tools can be used as decision aids, and you see on your right, there are different decision points, and at those points, what the computer does is collect all available data and help the physician together with the patient to take a decision. It sounds complex. It is complex, but it's becoming a reality in many clinical settings. So now focusing more on types of treatments that we have that also help to overcome this resistance. So in fact, what we want is to outsmart the cancer. So in medical oncology, we have chemotherapy. Sometimes we use this war-related analogy. I know that some of you don't like it, but allow me to use it just to explain the mechanism of action of these different treatments. So chemotherapy is like a bomb in the sense that it's not so specific, and it will kill the tumor cells, but also some of the good cells, and that's why it has certain side effects. Now, we have tried to develop missiles. So those who go to a specific target, endocrine therapy targets the estrogen receptor, and T-HER2 therapy targets the HER2 receptor. And by this mechanism of action, they still have side effects, but much less, because they affect less normal cells. So the way to outsmart the cancer is to develop better and smarter therapies, and also combine different therapies with different mechanisms of action. So now I'm going to go a little bit faster. on just pinpointing what this last 2-3 years saw in the three subtypes of breast cancer. So let's start with HER2 positive advanced breast cancer. This is a complex algorithm, but the message here is just to tell you this is the subtype with many options of treatment. And what is very important here is that almost all of them provide a survival benefit. And this is very rare and mostly occurs in this subset of advanced breast cancer. So how do the anti-HER2 therapy work? Let's start with the first one developed, that was trastuzumab. You see there the HER2 receptor. Usually what the receptor does, it combines with another receptor. It is activated and tells the cell to divide and grow and to go to other places to give metastasis. So what trastuzumab does is that it binds to the receptor and does not let it be activated. And therefore, it stops all this part of telling the cell to grow and to give metastasis. Many years ago, so in the beginning of the 2000s, this is a very important trial that was the first trial to add trastuzumab to chemotherapy and show very important results, including for the first time an improvement in survival of about 5 to 6 months. Sounds little, but at the time was a big step forward. Now, the main messages for this subtype is that anti-HER2 therapy should be offered as early as the diagnosis of metastasis and should be continued beyond progression. And this was a changing paradigm. So usually, when a disease progresses under a treatment, we stop that treatment. But here we have found out that we need to keep blocking this receptor, because if we don't, the disease progresses much faster. So blocking the HER2 receptor has to be done even beyond progression. So we can do that with trastuzumab, but we needed to develop other drugs so that we could have other options of treatment targeting this receptor. And this led to what we call dual blockade. What is this? You see there in the cartoon, on your left you have the antibody trastuzumab in green, and on your right you have another antibody, similar one in blue, called pertuzumab. They both link to the HER2 receptor, but to different spots in the HER2 receptor. So remember what I told you about the subway. If you block in two ways, it is usually more effective than blocking in one way alone. And this is what we learned with the dual blockade, that it's more efficacious than to use trastuzumab alone. Now, we can also block this receptor in two places with trastuzumab and with this other drug that binds to the part of the receptor that is inside the cell, and it's called lapatinib. So different drug, different mechanism of action, but the same objective, that you block the receptor in two parts. And then we move on to complicate it even further and develop a way to transport chemotherapy inside the cell. And this is called just TDM1. And what it has is, you see there, the trastuzumab molecule in green, and it has some stars linked to it. Those stars are chemotherapy. So 3 molecules of chemotherapy, and actually what trastuzumab functions here is as a bus. So it's like a bus transporting the chemotherapy. It gets to the receptor. It is eaten up by the cell, and inside the cell it frees the chemotherapy. And by doing this, because it's bringing the chemotherapy inside the cell, you have much less side effects. So trastuzumab, together with this DM1, which is a chemotherapy, became much more efficacious, or should I say, better tolerated than the association of chemotherapy plus trastuzumab. And the history goes on and on in this subtype with the development of new, more potent anti-HER2 agents, and sometimes a combination of anti-HER2 agents. So two drugs have come to the market in the last year. One is called tucatinib, and I'm not going to confuse it further with this, but let's just simplify by saying that tucatinib works in a similar way that I showed that lapatinib works. So it links to the part of the receptor that is inside the cell. What is the importance of tucatinib? It is less toxic than lapatinib. These drugs give a lot of diarrhea, but tucatinib is less toxic. It has shown an improvement in survival for patients who had received several lines of treatment before. And very importantly, it has shown efficacy in the brain. Now, I'm going to make just a parenthesis here to tell you that the brain is a very difficult organ to treat. There is something called blood-brain barrier that exists for our protection. So it protects our brain from all the toxins and from many other aggressions. However, when we have a cancer, and if the cancer cells go to the brain, this barrier works against us because it doesn't let treatments go through it and affect the cells, the tumor cells that are in the brain. But tucatinib has this capacity to cross the blood-brain barrier and to kill the cells in the brain as well. So that's why we are also excited about it, because it can help control brain metastasis. Now the other drug that came last year is similar to TDM1. So it also uses trastuzumab as a bus. But you can see there that there are many other stars in the link to the trastuzumab molecule. So there are more chemotherapy molecules transported by each trastuzumab molecule. This is called, I'm going to say slowly, trastuzumab deruxtecan. Okay. And similar mechanism of action, but very exciting results with a lot of response rates. However, 2 points. This was only a phase 2 study. There are phase 3 studies ongoing, and we need to wait for those before we completely change our way of treating and using this drug. And this drug has a major problem in toxicity. It gives something called pneumonitis, and this can be fatal. So we have to learn how to diagnose this early and how to treat this early. But possibly this is the drug that is going to change the standards in the next 2 or 3 years. So the summary for this subtype is that the first line setting would be a combination of chemotherapy, trastuzumab and pertuzumab, or chemotherapy and trastuzumab. The second line would be TDM1. For those who don't have access to TDM1, continue trastuzumab with another chemotherapy agent. In some cases, we give endocrine therapy and anti-HER2 therapy. So remember that the most important thing, keep blocking the HER2 pathway. Doing this has changed completely the natural history of this subtype. It used to be the worst subtype. It is now the best, the one with the longer survival. There is a cost to all that. I put here the cost because we can discuss this in the question and answer. And the cost there is in euros, and for my country it's probably much more expensive in the US, but it gives you an idea how expensive these drugs are. Now let's go for another subtype, the subtype that is the most frequent subtype, ER positive, HER2 negative. These cartoons are just to tell you that this is a very heterogeneous group of tumors. And without complicating the biology, which is on the top, I simplify them on the bottom by saying that you have a small percentage, about 10 to 15, that has what we call a visceral crisis. What is this? This is a situation. I'll have it later on. But it's a situation where the disease is progressing rapidly, and it is affecting a specific organ. For example, the liver is not able to function. In those cases, we need to give chemotherapy. But this represents only 10 to 15% of cases. Another 15% would be what we can say low burden, so very few metastases, less aggressive biology, and in this case, we can treat with endocrine therapy alone. And then you have the biggest group, where the standard of care today is endocrine therapy and CDK4/6 inhibitor. And I'll come back to this. So I wanted to make this point that when it's not possible because of cost to receive a CDK4/6 inhibitor, the best second option is endocrine therapy alone and not chemotherapy. So this is again an algorithm just to show you that we have many options. On your left are the endocrine therapy options, and on your right the chemotherapy options for this subtype of breast cancer. Now, endocrine therapy was the first example of targeted therapy. So they bind the endocrine therapy agents bind either to the receptor, the estrogen receptor, or to estradiol, the ligand. So aromatase inhibitors decrease the estradiol. And so the objective is to block the linkage between the estrogen and the estrogen receptor. Main take-home message: endocrine therapy is the most important treatment and the most efficacious treatment for this subtype. And we should use several lines of endocrine-based therapy and just go for chemotherapy if we have no more options, or if we are not obtaining any response. I'm going to skip this because I think I already explained what visceral crisis is, but I'll come back to this on the Q&A. So the standard of care is now the use of a CDK4/6 inhibitor combined with either fulvestrant and aromatase inhibitor. Some of them can also be combined with tamoxifen. And this is the same for postmenopausal women, premenopausal women, and also for men, since men can have breast cancer as well. Again, the major cause is that the major limiting factor is the cost, because these agents are also expensive. How do they work? So the cell cycle is like the clock that regulates the functioning of the cell. And what they do is that in a tumor cell, this clock is disrupted, and the cell is dividing too fast and living forever. So what the cyclins do, or the cyclin inhibitors do, is to try to readjust the clock so that it functions at the normal speed. Because of time, I'm going to skip this very quickly, but I'm going to tell you that CDK inhibitors are a group of agents that prolong survival for this subtype of breast cancer. And they reduce death in 30%, and there is no chemotherapy that provides such benefit, both in the first line setting and also in the second line setting. So that's why they have become the standard of care. Because of time, I'm going to skip the next line of therapy, but just to tell you that what we've been developing is more agents that target specific targets inside the cell, such as the PIK3CA mutation.
Okay, everybody, we're getting to the next slide.
So let's talk a little bit about the approach to treatment for advanced or metastatic breast cancer. So this slide is an image that kind of describes our overall approach. Unfortunately, as many of you may know, metastatic breast cancer is not likely to be cured. However, in most cases, we are aiming to and are often quite successful in achieving long-term cancer control, and that is our general goal. The main approach that we use for this is systemic therapy, which is medications that go through the whole body. From time to time, we use surgery and radiation, as we talked about a little bit on the previous slide. Typically, what we do is we use one systemic therapy after another, and we use each treatment for as long as it is working and the side effects are not troublesome. And if we run into a situation in which either it is not working or the side effects are too troublesome, we consider what our options are and we may start a different therapy. So along the way, obviously you see your healthcare team on a regular basis and you have routine clinical and laboratory evaluation. And then the best way that we can figure out if the treatment is working is to get scans. And we will typically do them every 2 months to see if the treatment is working. And we'll use that information to decide whether to continue with the same treatment or to try another one. One of the really important things to think about through this entire process is to incorporate supportive care, which really is managing symptoms and side effects. And we want to do that the whole way so that we are improving quality of life and making sure that our treatments are tolerable as well as effective at fighting against the cancer. So fortunately, there are many different treatment options available for metastatic breast cancer. And we touched a little bit upon this already, but we consider a lot of different factors when we're selecting systemic therapy for each individual patient at each individual moment in time. The most important factors are the 3 markers that we already talked about: estrogen receptor, progesterone receptor, and HER2. There are 2 other factors that we will often consider also. The first is side effects. For example, if someone has experienced a particular side effect that is persistent, when we're selecting our next therapy, we may want to select one that does not have that same side effect profile. And then the other thing that we think about is what we call line of therapy, which is really what are the previous treatments that you have received. We want to make sure to pick something different and to think about what treatments have been evaluated in that particular setting based on the number of prior treatments or the list of the prior treatments, and that will help us in our treatment selection. So there are so many breast cancer treatments available that it's not something that I can put on one slide and present in just a short amount of time. But I tried to kind of summarize it in this table, which lists the general category of types of treatment according to the receptors that we just talked about. So starting on the left side, we have triple-negative breast cancer. That's the one that was estrogen and progesterone receptor negative and HER2 negative. And the mainstay of treatment at this point in time for triple-negative breast cancer is chemotherapy. Chemotherapy includes drugs that disrupt the cancer cell's life cycle. And there are many different ones that we use for metastatic breast cancer. Some examples would be drugs that fall into a class called taxanes, a drug that is called capecitabine, an anthracycline, or a platinum drug. Most often we use one type of chemotherapy at a time. However, there are situations in which we give more than one at a time. Moving to the middle category, we have the hormone receptor positive breast cancer. Here, most often we start with endocrine or hormonal treatment, and what that really is anti-hormonal treatment. We can give it by itself, but most recently we've had a lot of research looking at combination of hormonal therapy with targeted therapies. And there have been two main groups of targeted therapies that we've been using recently based on some really exciting developments. The first is the use of these drugs called CDK4/6 inhibitors, and the second is a type of drug called an mTOR inhibitor. If we get into a situation with hormone receptor positive breast cancer where the cancer may be growing despite anti-hormonal therapy, then we can use chemotherapy just as we would have in the setting of triple negative breast cancer. Moving over to the right-hand column, we have HER2 positive breast cancer. Most of the time, we treat HER2 positive breast cancer with a combination of both chemotherapy and anti-HER2 therapy. So, for example, we could give a taxane chemotherapy along with two anti-HER2 antibodies called trastuzumab and pertuzumab.
Alright, everybody, it's the last video here.
I think the world just stopped. I didn't. It just felt like the sound went off. Emotionally, first time I was overwhelmed. It was a lot of things I don't know. I was saying I'm too young. I was diagnosed with metastatic in 2005, and it was kind of an interesting thing. I had no clue that back pain could be a symptom of metastatic disease.
I did not understand metastatic disease. I did not understand that a tumor in your breast could spread.
But I honestly thought that the original cancer was a blip on the radar screen. You know, I'm a healthy person. I've taken care of myself. I've done everything right as far as I could tell. It's not all about, whether or not your mom or your sister had breast cancer, or, I never smoked, I was healthy, I exercised, no one in my family has cancer.
I was diagnosed metastatic, so I don't know any other way. I was diagnosed with widespread cancer, and I've learned to, I say that I don't live with cancer, cancer lives with me.
I was told I would never be without cancer, that I would always be managing my cancer, that it would be active in some form or another. The hard part is how to live my life to the fullest, not knowing what the fullest means. The biggest challenge I have with metastatic disease is getting other people to understand that I'm living and living with it. I am not dying, and I'm not dying tomorrow. With my kids, that's the way I'm trying to be, and make sure I'm enjoying every day, and make sure every day I'm doing something different, and realizing that life goes on. It's just a new, for me, it's going to have to be a new normal. And I thought, even if I can't go back, there's volunteer work, there's things I can do, medical missions, just different things that I can do to still incorporate being a nurse.
They told me I would be lucky to make it 2 years, so I decided that wasn't okay with me, and I started to research, and I tried to find options, because being normal wasn't an option in this situation. I had to be better than normal.
I don't want to be a member of this club, but I am, and I think if I can speak out, I would much rather do that, and at least I have kind of a new path and a new purpose.
LBBC has been wonderful, just helping me out
and guiding me on how to help others out, and just getting the metastatic story out there, and it sort of made me realize how I want to live, and I'm sure how many women going through it want to live.
Surround yourself with positive people, people who affirm you, people who tell you that actually you can make it. Then I say that it's not going to be all about me. I'm going to reach out to somebody else, to other sisters who are going through their own journey.
When I was diagnosed with metastatic disease, probably when I started dealing with it, I made a decision. And a decision I made, and I say this to myself almost every morning, I refuse to live my life dying. I'd rather die living.
Whether it's a good day or a bad day, just appreciating it because you're here to live it. It's just a key, and it changes your life. It literally does change your perspective on everything.
It has been quite the experience. Not one I wish upon anybody, but if you do find yourself in this position, you have to make the best of it. You have to really get the most out of it that you can.
We're taking a head on. That's just the way I am. I watch people sicker than me every day in the hospital. Try not to complain because there's always something worse that could be happening.
I feel so lucky, but at the same time, I feel so sad because the women who were diagnosed just prior to all of the advances that are being made this last decade, I feel for them, and I want to reach out. I'm sorry.
After I start knowing about cancer and about treatments, there's a hope for it, and I start getting stronger and start hoping I'll be cured. Every day now I have a positive thinking about life.
It's living with metastatic breast cancer, not just living, but wanting to thrive on it, with it. Because living, everyone lives. But how do we live? How do we want to live?
Alright ladies, have an amazing and a wonderful day, and today is Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October 13, 2021. My name is Minister Johnson. Have a blessed and a safe day. Don't forget that there is Bible study session at 7 p.m. on Time Ministry YouTube channel, Facebook, as well as IG. Okay? I love you all. God bless you.